everybody, it's Mary here, and today's video is about changing your permanent address when you are a full-time RVer. So there are a lot of different ways that you can do this. There are actually some organizations that this is what they focus on. So they provide you with changing your address and having a permanent address when you're living remotely and on the road. One such of those types of organizations is called Escapees. It's out of Livingston, Texas. And what they do is they have a campground that they will allow you to use that as your permanent residence. And when you do, you can also, there's a service fee for that, and they will help you change your residence into Texas if you so choose to do so. And it also allows you to have some mailing services and some other things. And of course, all of these different levels have different fees attached to them. And some of you may be wondering, well, why would I want to change my residence to another state? Well, one of the reasons that a lot of full-time RVers do look into changing their permanent address is because some states in the United States do not charge you tax on your income. So that can be a real savings, a financial savings, if you change your residence to a state that does not have income tax. But for us, that simply wasn't a possibility because my husband's employer requires that he be living in the state of Indiana and be a resident of Indiana. So for that reason, we were not able to use Escapees and change our address to Texas. So we had to look into other alternatives. So I just wanted to give you a little update on how we have changed our permanent address from a sticks and bricks location to something that's more accommodating to our movable remote lifestyle. So the first thing we did was, while we still had a sticks and bricks address, we went ahead and found a small town near the campground where we stay most when we're in Indiana, and we purchased a post office box. Now, the reason why I say we did it before we got rid of our permanent address is because one of the things that the U.S. Post Office requires when you get a post office box is a physical address. So we needed to put a physical address down, so we just used the address for the apartment that we currently had. Did that all online, pretty simple process, and now we pay an annual fee for a post office box that we can use to have things shipped to. So the other thing that I wanted to let you know is that we went ahead once we moved out of our apartment and we did a change of address. So when we did that change of address form, we changed it from the apartment address to the post office box. So all mail that we receive now goes to the post office box. Now, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you it's not a whole lot because we pay all of our bills online. All of that is set up to where we don't really get much mail, but we needed to have that address that we could put on things. So that's the route we went. Now, once we changed our address from our apartment to our post office box, I then went online and changed my address for all of our credit cards and our bank and all of that stuff. You're able to do all of that online, which is really great and convenient. But I wanted to let you know there was a small challenge that I came up against. And that is with my bank. My bank, when I tried to put the new address as a P.O. box, it came up with an automatic message that said, P.O. boxes are not allowed. We need to have the physical address where you live. We could ship your statements to a P.O. box, but they needed a physical address. So that was a challenge for me. And I really didn't want to use a family member or something like that. I really wanted to find a workaround. So because it was an automated system, it was pushing back on any time I put in P.O. box. But I discovered that when I put general delivery number, and then I put my post office box next, and then the city, state, and zip, no problem with the bank accepting that. So a little tip, anytime an address is general delivery and then it has a number, it's always going to go to that local post office. So that's a little workaround that I found for my bank that was really helpful. So now all of my bank information can be sent directly to that post office box as well. So the other thing that I did was I changed all of my bills as well. So those we were changed to an online modality of payment. Most of those we were doing anyway, but there were a couple that had somehow slipped through the cracks and I was receiving bills for those. I just went online, made sure that all of those were now sending me online notices to my email, and I could just pay them directly online. Now, you may think, what about packages, right? So, you can take care of those few items that you get in the mail by being sent to the post office box. But if you really are traveling a lot and you're mobile most of the time, it may not be convenient to go to the post office and get packages that you're wanting or needing. So the thing that we do is we just take advantage of Amazon whenever possible, or even if it's some other kind of a company. We've discovered that most campgrounds that we stay in, especially RV parks as opposed to campgrounds, RV parks will allow you to have boxes shipped directly to their address. So when we were in Texas for those 14 days, that's actually something we did. So we ordered the new running boards for our truck. We ordered them through Amazon. We had them shipped right to the RV park, and we just put our site number on that order, and they brought it right to us. So it was really convenient. So that's a really great way to be able to get your packages wherever you are. The other thing that we plan to do is we usually know in advance when we're going to be near family or friends. So if there's something that we need and we know we're going to be headed that direction, we can always order in advance and have it shipped to them, and we can pick it up when we receive it. So now we have our mail going to a post office box at a location where we frequent pretty much. We're always cutting through Indiana because we have family in Texas, family in Florida, and family in Massachusetts. So having Indiana as our central location really works out well because we're coming through here at a pretty frequent pace. And then whenever we need packages, we just have those shipped either directly to the RV park that we're staying at or to friends and family when we know in advance that we're coming their way. So a couple of other things, that is your voter registration card. So we think that's important to vote. And so we went ahead and made the voter registration change to our post office box. So that got taken care of. And now what we'll do is we will probably, if we're not going to be in the local area when it's time to vote, we will just let them know and have an absentee ballot be sent to us. And we can pick that up and do that in advance of any elections. And then the last thing is our tow vehicle and our RV registration. So again, we can utilize that P.O. box that we're coming to on a pretty regular cadence for those things. And then we can also do a lot of that online. So we really are just trying to have a central location where all of that little mail is coming, what little there is, through the P.O. box, but then also switching the rest of our bills and those things that we maybe used to use the mailbox for. We've now shifted that over to an all online approach so that we can do those anytime, anywhere, and make sure that we keep everything up to date. So that's just a quick little information about how we handled going from a permanent address, physical address, to a P.O. box and being able to accommodate this really mobile RV living lifestyle. Hope this was helpful. Remember, we're Hendrick Home on the Highway, and we'll see you down the road.